And we're joined now on the sofa by Ange. Ange, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. Yeah. Busy period, but all good.
Yeah, it's hectic. Football all the time at the moment. How are you finding that bridge? It's just game.
Yeah, you kind of you get into a bit of a routine. What you realise is you don't really know what day it is anymore. It's kind of match day -1 or match day +2, and you kind of work your way through it. So, but yeah, no, enjoying it still, and busy period, but important.
So we've just seen your presser. Looks like there's some good news on the horizon players-wise. Can you just run us through how everything's shaping up? Yeah,
so I mean, I guess for the immediate, we obviously get Biss back, who's obviously suspended for the last game, and then Destiny, we'll just see how he is. But everyone else got through it okay. And then sort of just on the horizon, Mikey's back training, which is great. Ben's not too far away, and Richie probably after that. So obviously then we've got Romero and Mickey after that, sort of in January at some point. But it looks like we'll get a couple of bodies back. I mean, we've obviously still got some big games in the meantime with the squad we've got.
If we just look back at the weekend, that was another one of those examples of us going through a frenzied period in the game where we just blow teams away. Why are we so good in those periods where we have maybe 10, 15 minutes and teams just can't handle it?
Look, I think it's just the way we play. I think, to be fair, lads, I think the whole first 45 minutes we were quite, really dominant, and I think from our perspective this year, when it's kind of all come together well. We've totally sort of overwhelmed teams, and I mean, I guess the most pleasing part about the last one was that we did it on the back of a really challenging European night when the guys were obviously physically it was a tough sort of 90 odd minutes, and then travelling back, not getting back to early hours the next day, and then really the same kind of group backing up, and you've got 18-year-olds in there. You've got Jed, who hasn't played for ages. The fact that they could play at that level of performance was outstanding, and only natural in the second half. We kind of slowed things down a little bit because we couldn't afford to lose anyone else injury-wise. So, but we managed to sort of protect Sonny and a couple of others, which was important as well.
Obviously, the nature of the business is everybody has injuries. We have our list of injuries, but it's not that it's forced upon you, but you've had to dip into those young talents and give them their opportunity. How pleased with you with the way that they cope with that?
Yeah, I'm super pleased, Clive. I mean, I don't think they're sort of, token opportunities. I think they've earned them. Archie and Lucas in particular as the 18-year-olds. And there's no doubt Mikey would have played a hell of a lot more if he was available as well. But I think the beauty for me is that they've not just played, but they've actually been catalysts to us getting through this period. They've really made impacts. I mean, Archie to be playing out of position at his age, in Europe, tough European games away, in the Premier League, and not missing a beat with that, and not just for one game. Sometimes when you put a player in for one game, a young player, they do well, but then he's had to stay in there and kind of perform. And I think, for us, like I said before, it's such a exciting thing to think about. You can add sort of, Pape's just growing all the time, and he's only 22 as well. So I think these young guys who we're leaning on through this period, when we get out on the other side and sort of hit some smoother waters, they're just going to be so much, better sort of, not just players, but more experienced players for us, even at a young age, where we can know that whatever challenges we're going to have ahead of us, well, no fear in throwing them in.
It's been so good to watch, hasn't it? It's been so special watching those young talents come through. And we spoke about Pap earlier on, but he's flying at the moment.
Yeah, I think we analysed his performance and so many facets of his game. He seems to be growing. There's that confidence. We know of his undoubted athletic ability, but he seems to be moulding everything together really well.
Yeah, and I think I just sensed the other day, he saw Lucas in there, and he goes, "Okay, I'm not the young one now. I've got to take more responsibility," and he grew, and that's what I mean. I mean, that's how you get growth in young people, is by them sort of feeling more and more confident and have more belief in themselves. And he was outstanding. I mean, I know Matters rightly so got the headlines, but I thought he was our best player of the night.
Let's just quickly look ahead to United. Actually, let's look back at United. Your first home game in charge against them. What were your memories of that day? It was such a special game, that one.
Yeah, it was. It was great atmosphere, exciting game. You know, we started the game well, and then they had a spell where we had to sort of work our way through. But obviously, to get the win on sort of my first home game against, obviously a big opponent, it was. Yeah, it was great. I enjoyed it. Enjoyed it immensely, and I think all our games against them have all been, pretty exciting. They're a kind of team that has individuals within their group that are always going to cause problems, and a real quality there, and they tend to try and play as well, which makes it usually a good game. We've obviously had a bit of joy against them, but we've also, not. And I think that's why, and particularly being a cup competition where it's a knockout, I think it's going to be a cracking game.
Yeah, obviously quarter-final of the League Cup, the teams that are in it, still big teams in it, but a great opportunity, especially what I think we always say with a home tie, with the atmosphere generated, it'll be a full house. And Manchester United, you'd say, going through a little bit of a transition, new manager, still maybe a little bit fragile, so a massive opportunity for us.
Yeah, it is. Like you said, I think all you can sort of, when you get to quarter-final stage, I don't think there's any easy games. I think, if you're fortunate to get a home fixture, I think you've got to use that to your advantage. I think that's where the opportunity lies for us. I still think they're a good side, and like I said, when you look at the individuals within their team, they can beat anyone on their day. They showed that. They beat City in the last game, but I think it's just the nature of cup competitions that, irrespective of kind of where the opponent's at in terms of their form, in a one-off game, there's always that sort of prospect that they'll play at their best, and that's what you've got to expect, and we've got to be at our best. But as you said, a home quarter-final, it's a great opportunity for us to get through to the semi-final stage.
And very finally, because these are our last two games before Christmas, what's Christmas going to look like for you? Is there any traditions that you're able to keep hold of at all?
Well, I'm by myself, so that's one tradition that lasts in our family, because usually my wife takes off to warmer climates at this time of the year with the kids, and they're in Australia. So there's a sad little tree in our living room with some presents under that the family left me.
Will you still open presents in the morning?
Yeah, I'll give them a buzz when they get up Australian time, and I'll open the presents they got for me. But we'll be training on later on that day, so it's just the life of kind of we choose in football. It's an important time, though. I mean, it'd be great to share with the family. We had a couple of times up in Scotland where we were lucky enough to get a couple of days here and there, but it's just the nature of the beast. And tradition is me on my own with a sad little Santa hat, mate, if you can picture that. So, yeah.
I'm hoping that we get the 3 points on Boxing Day that make it all worthwhile.
That
as
would
well.
be nice,
Yeah, very happy Christmas to you and your family as well.
You too, and to everyone. Thank you.